Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Beacon, where our mission is to be a radically inclusive religious community that feeds the human spirit and heals the world. My name is Pablo Vasquez. Any pronouns work. I have long, curly, black, brownish hair, wearing a button-up white shirt, though with sleeves rolled up and a little bit buttoned down because it's hot outside. And I'm also wearing black pants. Let's see, I am your July minister. I'm glad to be here, as always. It's a blessing. Every Sunday this month, I will be with you exploring themes relating around freedom. And on Wednesdays, I will be leading a class at 7 p.m. at the library on the second floor on recognizing authoritarianism and what to do about it. So I want to start out our service, of course, by addressing recent events. Yesterday, we had a traumatic moment for our country. And sadly, it is a long line of traumatic moments in being an American, for sure. Political assassinations are not new to this country, sadly, and all of us in our lifetimes have had to deal with it in some form or another. It's a great sorrow, and it's not something that we wish to see or to have our younger ones see, whether they're family, children, friends, what have you. I had to counsel last night some friends who are a little bit younger who just seem to immediately enter into a mode of panic and loss of hope about the situation. Whether they began, speculating far too much into conspiracy theories, or ending up far too much believing that whatever happens from this, that they were going to be possibly persecuted from it. They feared ongoing political violence, ongoing division in this country. And I think we all do. Deep down, we all do, having seen what has happened to the United States politically lately. But as I mentioned earlier, it's a long history we've had with this. But I think I have hope in us, not just in this wonderful community, but as a whole, as a country, as a world, as a people, as a species, that we can move towards hope. And to be honest, as I told my friends yesterday, if the struggle was hopeless, we wouldn't be progressing as we do. In reality, we must maintain our hope and our optimism and our desire to build a better world, because as Unitarian Universalists, we want to build a world that isn't just based around meeting here every Sunday. We want to build a world that is inclusive, peaceful, loving, full of acknowledging our interdependence and acknowledging how we are all one united human community. As such, my heart and my love is with you and with your loved ones, and I hope and I believe that we are going towards building that better world. So, with that all said, I'm glad to be leading this service for you, and if you need me or any of our lovely chaplains to talk to this week after these events or anything else going on in your life, please reach out. We're all here for you. With that, let us begin this morning service.
We're going to start with hymn 131, Love Will Guide Us. If you'd like to join us by standing, if you are able or willing, that would be great.
For anyone we've not met, this is Joel Buckner, and I'm Sean Jordan. We're excited to be singing with you today.
Woohoo! And Judy. Love will guide us, peace has tried us.
morning, Beacon. I am Rachel Radzewski. I'm one of your beautiful worship associates today, and I am using the pronoun she, her. I have middle length kind of brown hair and a big zebra muumuu for the hot weather that's coming into New Jersey today. For the lighting, the struggle for freedom. We light this chalice in memory of the courage of those who have struggled for freedom, the persistence of those who've struggled for justice, and the love of those who've built beloved communities to carry on the light of hope.
Good morning, Beacon. My name is Dan Yanis, and my pronouns are he, him. And I'm a white-presenting man of average height, reddish hair, and I'm wearing jeans and a navy blue shirt. Slightly coated in peanut butter and a little bit of drool, thanks to our one-year-old. But as chaplains, and I'm here in my capacity as a chaplain today. So as chaplains, we extend the pastoral care at Beacon, and in part through the creation of sacred spaces for intentional presence and deep listening. We recognize that everyone needs care at different parts in their lives, and we believe that the intentional practice of presence and listening can provide a foundation for healing, even in these very deeply challenging times. If you're feeling called to be heard and would like to be connected with a chaplain, please see me or any member of the ministry team. Please know that we hold these engagements in strict confidence. And if you'd like to learn more, please visit the Beacon website. So one other way that we extend the care of our community is by facilitating our weekly candle lighting. Together, we light candles of sorrow, joy, and gratitude. This morning, we light a candle for those fighting in liberation struggles around the world and those lost to such struggles. A candle for the people of France after a deeply divisive campaign and election, and in commemoration of Bastille Day. A candle for non-binary people, including our summer minister Pablo, on this International Non-Binary Peoples Day. A candle for loved ones experiencing declining health. We invite love and comfort to surround them. May they feel the warmth of our presence and let peace and serenity guide them. A candle of healing and care to Heather Stober as she navigates an illness. May energy and renewed health come to her. A candle of support and strength for Dick Muldoon, who began chemo this week for lung cancer. We are sending our love to Dick and his wife Kit, as well as our companionship in the journey ahead. A candle and all the light that we can gather of sorrow in the wake of the shooting of former President Trump at a rally yesterday, and care and comfort to the families of those killed and injured. And a candle of light for those afraid right now, those grieving that violence pierced the fabric of being human in this country once again, and a candle of light for when it is near impossible to know the way. May we know the way. For these things and so much more, beloved, I invite you now to consider your own inspirations for gratitude, sorrow, and joy. If you're joining virtually, please take this time to light a candle in a home altar, or you can share your reflections in the chat. And for those in the sanctuary, I invite you now to come forward and light a candle of your own.
So this next song that I'm going to be singing maybe it still is, a well-known song sung by Edith Piaf. I regret nothing. Je ne regrette rien. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé. Avec mes souvenirs, j'ai allumé le feu. Mes chagrins, mes désirs, je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours avec leur trémolo. Balayé pour toujours, je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Rien, car ma vie, car mes joies, aujourd'hui, ça commence avec toi.
What an incredible performance. Thank you so much. Let's give her another round of applause. Trust me, I've been to enough karaoke's to know that not everyone can nail that song, so thank you very much for doing it service. So, as mentioned earlier, today is Bastille Day. It is to the French what to us is the 4th of July, a day to declare their independence from old norms, from oppressive ways, and to look hopeful into the future. Bastille Day began in actually the 1780s when France was only just on the precipice of its revolution. And it was because they single-handedly, a mob of people, angry at the way that they were being treated by the monarchy, the government of the king, and so forth, chose to dismantle what they thought was the ultimate symbol of how they were being treated, which was a political prison, the Bastille. When you go to Paris nowadays, you see no sign of it whatsoever. The following month, they abolished feudalism in France and wrote what I will now be reading, which is the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, basically their own Declaration of Independence. Because I think it's important, especially in these tumultuous times, especially in a world filled with political ignorance and historical ignorance, it's good to learn about what led others to resist oppression and what words they came up with when they were finally becoming free. The representatives of the French people formed into a national assembly considering ignorance, forgetfulness, or contempt of the rights of man to be the only causes of public misfortune and the corruption of governments, have resolved to set forth in a solemn declaration the natural, unalienable, and sacred rights of man, to the end that this declaration, constantly present to all members of the body politic, may remind them unceasingly of their rights and their duties, to the end that the acts of the legislative power and those of the executive power, since they may be continually compared with the aim of every political institution, may thereby be the more respected, to the end that the demands of the citizens, founded henceforth on simple and incontestable principles, may always be directed towards the maintenance of the Constitution and the happiness of us all. In consequence whereof, the National Assembly recognizes and declares in the presence and under the auspices of the Supreme Being the following rights of man and of the citizen. Article 1, men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Social distinctions may be based only on considerations of the common good. Article 2, the aim of every political association is the preservation of the natural and imprescriptible rights of man. These rights are liberty, property, safety, and resistance to oppression. Article 3, the principle of any sovereignty lies primarily in the nation. No corporate body, no individual may exercise any authority beyond that does not expressly emanate from it. Article 4, liberty consists in being able to do anything that does not harm others. Thus, the exercise of the natural rights of every man has no bounds other than those that ensure to the other members of society the enjoyment of those very same rights. These bounds may be determined only by law. Article 5, the law has the right to forbid only those actions which are injurious to society. Nothing that is not forbidden by law may be hindered, and no one may be compelled to do what the law does not ordain. Article 6, the law is the expression of the general will. All citizens have the right to take part personally or through their representatives in its making. It must be the same for all, whether it protects or punishes. All citizens, being equal in its eyes, shall be equally eligible to all high offices, public positions, and employments according to their ability, without other distinction than that of their virtues and talents. Article 7, no man may be accused, arrested, or detained except in the cases determined by the law and following the procedure that he has prescribed. Those who solicit, expedite, carry out, or cause to be carried out arbitrary orders must be punished. But any citizen summoned or apprehended by virtue of the law must give instant obedience. Resistance might make them guilty. Article 8, the law must prescribe only the punishments that are strictly and evidently necessary, and no one may be punished except by virtue of a law drawn up and promulgated before the offense is committed and legally applied. Article 9, as every man is presumed innocent until he has been declared guilty, if it should be considered necessary to arrest him, any undue harshness that is not required to secure his person must be severely curbed by law. Article 10, no one may be disturbed on account of his opinions, even religious ones, as long as the manifestation of such opinions does not interfere with the established law and order. Article 11, the free communication of ideas and of opinions is one of the most precious rights of man. Any citizen may therefore speak, write, and publish freely, except what is tantamount to the abuse of this liberty in the cases determined by law. Article 12, to guarantee the rights of man and of the citizen, a public force is necessary. A force is therefore established for the benefit of all and not for the particular use of those to whom it is entrusted. Article 13, for the maintenance of the public force and for the ministry of expense, a general tax is indispensable. It must be equally distributed amongst all citizens in proportion to their ability to pay. Article 14, all citizens have the right to ascertain by themselves or through their representatives the need for a public tax, to consent to it freely on their own behalf, to watch over its own use, and to determine its proportion, basis, collection, and duration. Article 15, society has the right to ask a public official for an accounting of his administration. Article 16, any society in which no provision is made for guaranteeing rights or for the separation of powers has no constitution. Article 17, since the right to property is inviolable and sacred, no one may be deprived of thereof, unless public necessity legally ascertained obviously requires its just and prior indemnity has been paid. And thus, we declare as a National Assembly that these are the declarations and rights of man and of the citizen. Must be noted also that Olympia Gouget, a woman revolutionary during the French Revolution, objected to the language of this declaration and wrote her own Declaration of the Rights of Women and of the Citizen, which includes a lot of this, but takes into account a bunch that was previously forgotten by half of the citizenry of France. So yes, a little bit of revolutionary history for you as we continue this service. Thank you very much. And now, as we do in this congregation, we will be receiving the offering. I would like to thank you all for, of course, being part of this service. None of you needed to come out here today, but you did. And please give what you can as Beacon fulfills a mission that is so necessary in our world today to help and heal the world and include us all in radical inclusivity. So thank you, and may this morning's offering be so gratefully received.
We're going to be singing If I Had a Hammer this morning, made famous by Peter, Paul, and Mary, and now being made famous by Sean and Joel. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh, if I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh, if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh.
Well, I've got a hammer,
And I've got a bell, and we've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's always a lovely song to hear, especially when I'm about to talk about revolution, because it starts bringing the love that is at the core of when people fight for justice, for equality, for freedom, and how much we love each other to be able to do that. There's a great revolutionary who once said that at the core of any revolutionary activity is love. It's the heart of our people. So in 1789, 235 years ago, as I said, the French decided enough was enough. And they went and dismantled the Bastille. And they fought hard against all the various forces that oppressed them. What was interesting is the way that they went about it. These were crowds of people that had previously never been organized into any sort of political force before. They just met each other on the street, realized that they were angry, and decided to channel that anger towards something that would change their circumstances. In many ways, it led to horrible excesses, but in a lot of ways, it led to a freedom that very few people had even begun to imagine. With the Declaration of the Rights of Man, slavery was abolished, homosexuality was made legal, and oppressions that were previously found in French society, but continued to be found in our own American society for hundreds of years after, were gone within the span of 3 months. It took us a lot longer, that's for sure. But I do have to say that there's something truly beautiful about that, because when they went out into the streets, they also were singing songs of freedom, of fighting against injustice, of solidarity and love. And every time that they encountered a platoon of the National Guard who had sworn their lives to protect the king or to protect the city or what have you, many of them defected. They just joined the people because they saw that they did not want their legacy to be tied to oppression, to be tied to the chains that were holding their brethren, and still in bondage. But they wanted to be part of this new world, and they wanted to build it as well. There was a French revolutionary officer that I was reading his notes, and he was there at the Bastille, and he said that there was nothing more beautiful to him than the dismantling of a prison. And I think, especially when we're dealing with what we're dealing with these days, we have to take that into account, because we do have many prisons that we have to dismantle. The prison of political violence, the prison of racial, sexual, gender-based oppression, the prison of mistreatment of immigrants, the prison of wishing to undo centuries of work to fight against things like child labor or underpaid wages. And of course, the very, very, very real prisons that exist in this country, that themselves, as an entire industry that seeks not change and reform but profit, needs to be definitely dismantled. And what was interesting about the Bastille is they didn't just blow it up or take a giant battering ram to it all. They dismantled it with their hands, brick by brick, to the point that if you go to Paris nowadays, there's not a single bit of the Bastille left. The only thing you can find is a marker on the floor, a little etching on the street that says, this was a corner of the Bastille once. They so dismantled the oppressions in which they were born into that it no longer even exists anymore. I always found an element of hope with that, because not only did they dismantle the Bastille, a prison, a very physical building, but they dismantled an entire idea, an entire system of thought. And there's something really hopeful about that, because as I said, in the next month, after thousands of years of feudalistic oppression, that was gone. After a century or more of the promotion of chattel and race-based slavery, that was gone. Thousands and thousands of years of oppression against homosexuals, unfairly against women, against people of differing religious beliefs, especially of Protestants or other types or dissenting Catholics, that was gone. And I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like to live in a world where 30 days before that you had no rights, and then suddenly you're completely free. Now, that's not to say that they freed everyone. As I said, Olympia Gouget had to fight also for the rights of women, even though women had more rights in this new world than they did previously under the Ancien regime. So the fight, when it came to the French Revolution after Bastille Day, continued. And this is why the French celebrate Bastille Day almost every year. A year after the dismantling of Bastille, they had a fete, a party, the Fete of the Nation, which was to commemorate not just the dismantling of the Bastille and the change that had happened in their society, but also to distinctly remember that their revolution was never truly over and was never, ever going to truly end unless everyone in France was free in every single way. And it's fascinating because even to this day on Bastille Day, the president of France has to read the Declaration of the Rights of Man to the public. And the people gather together, and as I laugh because it seems like such a creation of the 1980s, and it kind of is, but there is a military parade that goes through on Bastille Day, to which, as appropriate for the French people, they protest heavily. So for them, the revolution continues in a variety of ways, but people always have differing ideas of what revolution is. We may think of revolution as being this violent, bloody act, but there have been so many revolutions that haven't even occurred that way. There have been revolutions of sexual freedom. There have been revolutions of love. There have been revolutions that have been named after various colors, that have been mostly people power, against unspeakable odds, that have remained with a conscious effort to be peaceful, to be loving, to be true to who they are. And they have succeeded in a variety of ways. There have been revolutions of thought, of theology. Our own denomination comes from very such revolution, to reject the old ways of believing in eternal damnation, or believing that anyone must be forced to believe in a particular way or not. We are free because our antecedents decided that they had to revolt against those very theologies. So within our very core and spirit and essence, as Unitarian Universalists, we carry a revolutionary spirit, a revolutionary fire that burns within all of us, really. Sometimes it's hard to view oneself as revolutionary, especially in today's world where we consistently question ourselves and think, what could I possibly do? What have I possibly done to help? Some of us may have just shared a post on a social media page, or emailed it to a friend, or maybe just put up a sign in their front yard, and then have doubts, thinking, is that enough? Will this really help? What good will it do to just share an image on the internet, or to put a little sign in the front yard? But it's small elements like that that can spark a fire, that can give hope. Just right now, actually, when I was watching the candle lighting ceremony, as everyone realized that this bowl in particular, the candles don't stand up well, I definitely saw what I consider to be that revolutionary spirit in action. Without even notifying the people that came right in front of them, the people behind them would grab the fallen candles and would lift them back up and find a space for them. Any ones that had gone out, they lit them again. This is why I love y'all. You take the minor actions, and those minor actions can build up. That's why I never discourage people who are just like, well, all I can do because I'm so afraid is, just share this little image on Facebook with some information about what's going on, or to share this news article so people remain informed, or to put out a sign that says, hate has no place here in this home. It's because sometime someone scrolling right down their Facebook or walking by your house is going to see that, and they're going to think that you lit their candle for them, that you picked up the candle for them. And that's how revolutionary thought and action begins. It's not, as we see, say, in like Les Miserables, where the college students are all gathered in their tavern and they've been planning for months and everything like that. No, it happens mostly with people power. And that people power comes from solidarity, from love, from connection, from realizing that we are stronger together than we are divided, and from also cultivating that fire, that revolutionary fire that is built on love and on hope. I use this quote way too often these days, and anyone who's been to my Resisting Authoritarianism and Recognizing Authoritarianism class has heard me say it, but Ursula K. Le Guin, one of my favorite science fiction authors and great thinker herself, had famously said, and this line always sticks with me whenever I'm feeling a bit down and thinking, maybe I'm not doing enough, or maybe things won't change. But she said that it's easy to lose hope, and it's easy to forget how much we've changed as well. It wasn't that long ago that, right nowadays we think there's no way we can change the order as it is, the authoritarians, the capitalists, et cetera, what have you. But we thought about 200, 300 years ago that the divine right of kings would last forever. And that changed. So I ask you, definitely, don't lose hope. Remember how much we've, bent that moral arc of the universe further, and how much we've striven towards justice. We've, as Unitarian Universalists, have engaged in so many social struggles throughout the 20th century. We've been at the forefront and have martyrs in the civil rights struggle, which I'm very proud of, to know that sorrowfully people had to give their lives for me to be able to stand up here and talk to you. And they came from the very same denomination that I wish to become a minister in. And that fulfills me. That keeps my revolutionary fire burning. And there are those in Unitarian Universalism that are still with us today who fought for the rights of my own queer folks to be able to marry each other, to respect and show our love to the world. There's Unitarian Universalists who fought for our religious freedom, our rights as people, for immigrant rights, for even my own poly rights, to be able to express my love even further. And I just feel not just thankful and grateful, but an inheritor of that. And I think you all should as well. A grand and beautiful fiery torch has been passed on to you. Don't drop it. It will come a time where you may need to light some revolutionary fires of your own within the hearts of others with that very torch, and then pass it along as well. There's the old Jewish saying that you are not expected to finish the struggle, but you are definitely expected to continue it. So for me, I'll leave you with this revolutionary message. We may be in dark times. We may be experiencing acts of political violence that none of us have asked for. We may be experiencing rhetoric that drives us further apart and brings hate more and more to the forefront. But at the same time, our struggle has always continued and will continue. And I think that we can fight against all that hate, all that violence, all that hopelessness, all that ignorance, and spark all those fires right from our chalice that will bring us closer and closer together and remind us that we are all carrying that same torch towards a better world. Thank you very much.
Okay, our last hymn for the day is hymn 151. 151 or 153? I wish I knew how.
I wish I knew how.
151. Sorry, it's wrong up there.
That's on us.
Listen to us. If you wouldn't mind rising again in any way that you can. And we're going to be singing verses 1, 2, and 4.
151.
151. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all those chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that still keep us apart. I wish
Another beautiful hymn. Thank you so much. Let's give it up for our music today. Absolutely wonderful. Really could not have asked for better music. Yes, yes, yes. Take a little bow if you want. All right, everyone, please, as we do as a community, rise as you're most able to or you wish to. Hold hands together in that solidarity and revolutionary love and unity. And I'll be ready to give you a benediction so you can leave here a little bit earlier. We call upon the grand revolutionary spirit and current that goes through our denomination, through our nation, through our world, to aim for a world in which we are all truly free to love, to be ourselves, to care for one another, to live in community with one another, and to create a better, more inclusive, loving, and beautiful world. And we will all do so together, I'm sure. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday.